Stay tuned. Coming up on this episode, I interview Charles Werner talking about the free AskRail app for first responders. But first, let's pay the bills. Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com. Hello and welcome to episode 290 of the Situational Awareness Matters show. I'm your host, Rich Gassaway. The purpose of this program is to help improve situational awareness and high-risk decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-stress, high-consequence, time-compressed environments with changing conditions. The SA Matters mission is simple. We want to help you see the bad things coming in time to prevent bad outcomes. I'm coming to you today from my office in St. Paul, Minnesota, having just returned from conducting a situational awareness program for the Illinois Fire Chiefs Association Conference in Peoria. Today's feature segment is brought to you by SimsUShare. SimsUShare is a simple and affordable way to help you develop and practice situational awareness skills. You can quickly build sims from your photos to simulate almost any kind of incident, including active threat scenarios. And the new SimsUShare Command Training Center now lets you conduct multi-company drills over the internet, so you can even run drills while your companies stay in station. Check them out at SimsUShare.com. Okay, let's jump into today's feature segment, my interview with retired Fire Chief Charles Werner, talking about the features and benefits of the free AskRail mobile app for first responders. Hey everyone, Rich Gassaway here, host of the Situational Awareness Matters show, and today I have back again Charles Werner, only this time in a different capacity. He is in this show representing the American Association of Railroads as the public safety liaison, and we are going to be talking about the AskRail app that is now available for first responders to help them during rail emergencies. So, Chief Werner, welcome back.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's it seems like just yesterday we were together on a program or on a show focused on drone technology. So I thought you were retired, but it seems like you've got your hands in a lot of things now in your air quotes retirement life.
That's right. You know, you like me, you kind of found yourself in a place where you had something to continue to offer to the community, and with all the technology things I've been working in, it just made sense to make these connections. And throughout my career, you know, I've been doing technology. When I retired, all of it converged. So I was working on broadband and FirstNet and interoperability and communications, and now drones and GIS. Well, now it all goes together. So in this AskRail app is another thing that actually fits in that same mold of all of it connecting together, because now you can imagine a drone getting information, looking at this app, being able to inform you of what's on on railcars. So it's really interesting how it's all converged.
Yeah, nice. Well, before we get into the actual what the Rail app is, or AskRail app is, and what its features are, let's maybe talk about what problem there was that gave rise to the creation of the AskRail app. You know, what was the problem to be solved that the app now provides a solution for?
Well, I think the biggest problem was having real-time information about what's on rail cars. As we arrive to an incident, when we have a derailment, how we react, and your whole program with Situational Awareness Matters is about knowing what you're dealing with to make the right and safe decisions for your personnel and for your community. And when you have 100 cars on a train, being able to see the information that's on that train in real time really becomes a critical element. So that's where it kind of started. And it wasn't until not too long ago when it all came together, the same thing of convergence of the app, the connectivity, and the smartphones and smart tablets and those things.
So prior to AskRail, what was the means by which somebody would get the information about what is on the rails? You know, you have an event, and you have to figure out what's the problem, what's the intervention, what are we going to do? How did we get access to that information before technology stepped up to help us?
Well, you would try to find the engineer and get the information on the consist that he has with him. Or you would be on a phone trying to call somebody and explain what you had and trying to get the information. So again, it's a much more complicated process. And of course, if the train has derailed in such a way that the engineer's injured, getting that consist information could be difficult, if not impossible.
And when did the process begin about creating this app? Who was involved in the creation of this app? What different organizations came together to collaborate for this technology?
Well, so you had primarily the International Association of Fire Chiefs were kind of the initiator. That it grew and included the National Volunteer Fire Council, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, really looking at what could this app do and how could it operate better. But really, it was initiated by the Association of American Railroads, AAR, who realized that they want these incidents to be mitigated as quickly and safely as possible too. So there's kind of a win-win here of them providing the information to us, and now we have that. And so this has been a collaborative effort. I wish I could go back and tell you the exact year that started. I think it was 2014 when it became live, but there was a lot of work that went in years prior to that. I came on just before I retired and have continued onward. So I actually am on the phone about every 2 weeks with a group called RailLink, which is the company that works for the Association of American Railroads to develop this app, to go through and talk about the features, testing, reliability, and those kind of things. So it's an ongoing commitment and partnership between AAR and these other organizations.
Okay. Tell me about some of the features of the app. I assume it's a phone-based application that someone can get from Google Store or Apple Store. Is there a cost to it?
No, it's free. So let's start with that. It's free. It's
Everybody likes that.
Yeah, that's an important point of that for us in the fire service. But it's a smart app, and it works on smartphones, smart tablets. But there's also a component where you can have a computer accessed program as well. So basically any format that you're working in, you can do that. And one of the reasons the computer piece becomes really important is that it can be used in dispatch centers, or other places that have their computers up and don't want to have smart devices operating separately.
Okay. And so take us on a tour of the app and what things people would have access to and how that would be valuable to them.
So it was really, it was kind of interesting. I was doing a presentation to members of Congress about the app, and it was that day when I actually had this epiphany of, if you've ever gone to the web, they'll tell you that you got to get the content 3 clicks or less, or people lose interest. With the app, the first thing that you do is you open it, and once you're there, you'll put the rail car number in, and within seconds, it provides you the real-time information of what's on that car. Now, what's interesting is it's not just what's on that car. It tells you what's on the car as far as the substance, if it's hazardous, if it's non-hazardous. It has the UN number. And if it is a hazardous material, you can actually click right there to take you to the DOT Emergency Response Guide. So it really plugs you right in, and it's really giving you quick information. But what this also does on this first click that you've done is it also shows you how many cars are on the train and where this car is in position in that train. So if you're in the middle of a derailment, you're trying to figure out how big is this, how many cars, and then the next click will actually take you to the full consist of the train. Now I can see every car, what it contains, and its relation to where this car is. And so I can go into each one of those and look to see what they have on them, and again, look at the emergency response guide to see what I need to be doing as far as actions. And so that's 2 clicks. And in your third click, you're actually getting isolation zones. And it's giving you information about things that are within that isolation zone, schools, hospitals, other things that now are giving you information very quickly as to what your circumstances look like. You know, it's one thing if you're in a rural setting and you're in the middle of a forest and very few people, population's very small, not many houses or any other infrastructure, or if you have it in the middle of a big city. And that really changes the dynamics of the information that you have at your fingertips within seconds. Now, the next click provides you with an actual spreadsheet of the consist that you can download, and now you can use with your command staff. If you need to divide the train up into different sections, you have the full consist on an Excel spreadsheet, so you can actually go through and then mark it up to say which one's been taken care of, who's looking, you know, as far as divisions and those kind of things.
What's a consist?
So the consist is all the trains, everything that's on every car on the train.
I assume that stands for something.
That's a question I can't answer. I'm a technology guy. I'm not a rail guy. So
okay. I wasn't familiar with the term, so I feel a little better that you're not. Yeah. Okay. But let me back up for a moment. So it tells you what's in the car, where that car is in the lineup of the rail cars. Where is that information inputted from that makes it available on the app?
So it comes from the railroads, and as I understand it, as each of these trains leave the rail yard, making its way on the destination of where it's going, it scans each one of these cars and updates the consist, this full train list, automatically, and then it's uploaded to a database that is managed by the Association of American Railroads through RailLink. And then it provides it. So when you go to access it, it's accessing that database. Sorry. So that you can actually see the information.
Okay. So the railroads are using like barcode scanners that you see on the sides of the cars to make this an automated process, not a manual process.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what are some of the other ways the app can be helpful to responders?
Well, I think that one, it makes it accessible to you wherever you are. And now as we see the connectivity increasing, the availability of that online information is very fast. It's very thorough, and it links now, if you think about it, something different than we had before. It links not only your information for the rail car, but what's on the rail car, and then right to the ERG as to what's the quick reference of what you need to be taken care of, and then right to the isolation zone, giving you what's around you and taking care of that, then a list to work off of to operate. So if you think about the dynamic of before, we're looking at books that we're trying to look through in books, we're making phone calls and trying to talk to people to get information, and we're getting this now fed to us directly where we are at the incident. Now, one of the things that's really important is that in a lot of cases, you may also have responses out in the rural areas that don't have broadband coverage. So you're saying, how does that really help me now? I've got a smartphone app and I've got no connectivity. That's where this computer access helpful back to dispatch center, because you can call back, and if you're using binoculars or you're using a drone, and you can get one rail car number, you know everything else that's on the train, and they in the dispatch office can look at that information and then relay to you the same information that you would have been looking at directly. So the information is still there. And now you're going to be using your land mobile radio system, or you're going to be using your connectivity that you may have between that and your dispatch centers.
And this app has been available to the fire service. Did you say for about 5 years?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have when we did the drone interview, there were a lot of very pointed examples of success stories that you were able to offer? I'm going to put you on the spot because we didn't discuss in this setup. Do you have any examples of any events where the drone app was helpful to a response team in mitigating a problem?
I'll give you a couple general examples. There have been a number of rail incidents that have occurred where public safety, and this is not just the fire service, so it can also be sheriffs, police, because it's really about getting this information to them. And it's also used extensively by the railroad employees themselves in the rail yards, because now it's become a valuable tool for them to be able to see what's on cars as well very quickly with utilizing the same tool. I will tell you one of the interesting experiences I had is when I was doing a demonstration for Congress. We were doing a live demo within one of the Senate office buildings, and we had a report of a rail incident. We had a washout in Kansas. So we went in and we looked and saw the rail incident, and we got the information of which car was involved, and then we could see the full consist. Well, then we decided to go in through the administrative side and look, and we could see that at that moment, a responder was using AskRail to access the information on that particular train, rail car and that train. So that was pretty moving. I will tell you something that's really interesting that the International Fire Chiefs have done that's really been helping. One of the discussions that we had is, so how do we know where people are as far as subscribers in relation to railroads and to fire stations? And do we have enough in the right places? Do we have gaps? So the AAR was able to provide the information to the IFC as far as subscribers and their locations to create a heat map. So we can now actually see all the subscribers in relation to the railroads and determine where we might have gaps and be able to go out and then promote the AskRail app in those areas where we see we're lacking coverage. And it's really changing the dynamic of understanding that.
Where would somebody find this app if they wanted to download it and have it available for their department or their members?
Well, as you mentioned, you can go to the Google Play Store. You can go to the Apple Store and look up AskRail, and it will come up. Now, there is a process that's important to understand. Is you have to go in a registration process and put your information in, and that goes to the respective railroad that you're servicing, because it'll ask you where you are. And then they'll go through an approval process to make sure that you have the credentials and that you need to have this, because there's a security issue of all this information, because you have access to trains and everything that's on them and in real time. So that's part of the process.
So does somebody have to be do they go through a process to validate that they're an actual first responder in an organization? They do something to verify that, or how does that work?
Yeah, typically they'll ask you to put a supervisor's name in. They'll make a call or contact them to make sure that you are who you say you are.
Okay. And then so to get access to this app, somebody has to be an active serving first responder in some public safety capacity.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And again,
Okay.
it's a free app, so it's available to anybody. It's available to dispatch offices, fusion centers, all those places, because they want the information available to the people who need access to it.
Okay. Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about the AskRail app, where would they go? Is there a forward-facing website or some point of contact for them?
There is, and I should have been a bit more prepared to answer that question, but let me look here real quick if you don't mind.
No.
I'm trying to use my technology here and my glasses. So, and there's some videos online as well that, but you can, well, now it took me to the app. Okay. There we go. So basically, askrail.us.
AskRail.us. US. Now, can somebody sign up through that website, or do they have to go to the apps? Oh, yeah, I guess you'd have to if you're going to download the app, right?
You have to get the app and do it. You go through the process, and when you load it, when you open it up, the first thing it'll tell you is you need to register, and it'll take you through a process. Not very long. Basically, it says who are you, where are you, what's your email address, who's your supervisor, what agency do you represent. And then once you've done that, submitted, it'll tell you that it's been submitted, waiting for approval from the railroad. And once that approval, which is usually pretty quick, comes back, then you have access to the AskRail app and its information.
Okay.
And on this page, you've got to watch the video to tell you directly, and then it says, how does the app work? And it walks you through and shows you that process. But again, the thing that we understand in the fire service is that, one, for something to work effectively, it's got to have one value. It's got to have good information. In this case, it's a combination of good information in real time, but also simplicity. As I mentioned to you, in 5 clicks, I just got all the information that I need to run an incident effectively. And I don't know that there's many things that you can see that are that simple to do.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else about the AskRail app that we should talk about that we haven't talked about because I didn't ask the right question?
Well, I think what's important to know is that I have to give a lot of credit to the Association of American Railroads for their commitment on working with us. And so what comes out of it is we have a public safety advisory rail committee that the Association of American Railroads put together, and that has the representation of national fire chiefs. I'm on it as well because I'm able to add some value between not just the fire service, but also other agencies, as well as how does it play with drones, how does it play with FirstNet, and other pieces. But what's really interesting is that there's this ongoing conversation each year of what would we like to see as an enhancement into into the app itself. And we come up with it as the group, and we prioritize it for the AAR, and they take it back and go through and have been working on that stuff. And what's really been enlightening for me is that we were working on the development of the app and just the visual acuity of what it looks like on the phone. And we were having some discussions, and we were having some disagreements about what it should look like. And I was driving down the road, and they were saying, no, it doesn't need to have this enhancement. And I said, it does, because of the light and how it reflects on the phone, and when we're out in the field in our incident operations. And we were kind of at a stalemate. And so I said, hang on a second. So I pulled my car over, and yes, I was using hands-free. I wasn't using the phone, and stopped, got out, pulled the app up, took a look at it. I couldn't see on the thing with the sun. I got back in the car and said, okay, listen, I really need to know, are you guys working on this for you or for me? And they said, no, it's for you. I said, well, I just got out of the car. I just did what I said. I can't read it. End of discussion. They immediately put it in play and changed the dynamic of that. So they are very cognizant of our needs and very willing to be willing partners to make this happen and evolve it in ways that helps a lot.
All right. Good. So if you want to learn more about AskRail app, go to askrail.us. If you want to download it, it's on Google Play or the Apple Store. It's the AskRail app for first responders, provided by the Association of American Railroads. Thank you, Charles, the public safety liaison, for this initiative, for all the work that you do, and especially for coming here and gifting some time to us to enlighten the fire service about this technology that can improve safety on train incidents.
Rich, thank you for your continued efforts of, providing information that, as your program says, situational awareness matters, and being able to have this information at your fingertips in real time is a game changer. So for effective operations and safety, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, sir. All right, that marks the end of the show. Not quite as long as the drone show, but that's okay. It's much more succinct technology and much easier to explain than all the possibilities of the drone technology. And so thank you. And again, I think I'm going to maybe hold this one till October, just to let a little time grow between those two episodes, and then I'll put it out. I'm going to be out of the country for 6 weeks, from the end of August till mid-October. So it'll probably be one of those first episodes that get pinged up when I get back in stateside.
Hey, so when's the drone program running? Is that up already, or?
Nope, it hasn't run yet. Hold on a second, I'll tell you. Yep, I think I have it in the queue. Hold on. August 13th. So it'll be up next. What is today? Today's the 6th. Yeah. So a week from today.
Yeah, a week from today. Okay. Hey, well, listen, safe travels. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in FRI. I'm traveling to other places to talk about drones, but I've got a person who's got my presentation at the Technology Council to talk about drones.
Oh, nice.
So I'm trying to figure out how to clone myself, but so far.
From drones to clones. That'll be an episode.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing is, with the drones, you talk about that, but it's just like the AskRail app. If I've got a drone and I can get the information off of a car, now I can pull the AskRail up and I can be looking at stuff. And so it's dynamic of how all this stuff's coming together. Yeah.
Well, keep the good work up out there on the road for the benefit of the fire service. Enjoying retirement.
Hey, you're like me. You're only doing this because you're having fun, though, right?
Right. Exactly. Stop having fun. Maybe we'll go sit on a porch somewhere or something.
Yep. Sounds good. Well, listen, safe travels.
Thank you, Chief. I look forward to when we're together somewhere.
Same here.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Chief Werner, for helping to educate first responders about this valuable app. The Situational Awareness Matters show was launched in 2014 with a purpose to give a platform to those who've had near-miss events to share their stories. When I'm on the road delivering classes on situational awareness, I often ask the attendees about near-miss events that they've had, and they have shared some amazing stories. Those stories motivated me to launch this podcast in the first place, so those lessons could be shared with a bigger audience. You. The Situational Awareness Matters show, podcasted as SA Matters Radio, and our companion video program on the SA Matters TV channel on YouTube, along with other videos that we have posted there, have enjoyed more than 800,000 downloads. I am so thankful for your support, and I feel so honored to be able to provide a platform for these amazing stories to be shared. If you like the show, please do me a favor. Subscribe. For the audio version of the show, just search for SA Matters Radio on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, or iHeartRadio. For the video version, subscribe to SA Matters TV on YouTube. And if you find value in the show, I would really appreciate it if you would give the show a rating and write a review. Your ratings and reviews help others to find the show. And more importantly, your feedback inspires me to work even harder for you.
I think Rich's ability to connect with any crowd, that's a gift that he has, and it's easily transferable.
This is the second or third time that I've heard him speak. There's some teeth to the information that he brings.
It's been really good. Good mixes. He knows when to throw in a joke here and there to get you back involved.
Some tools. I'm a new lieutenant, so very, very interesting. And some of these things I can take back to the station and use with some of the new firefighters I have on my crew.
Something to get you thinking about your job more, big picture type stuff. I've seen him before. A good review for sure.
I have heard him before, yes. After he speaks, there's usually an enlightenment because now they're more aware of what's going on around them and what they're experiencing as they're responding to calls.
He's very, very knowledgeable. I'm enjoying it so far.
And that intuition, that's a big one. The video that he just showed up here, we're getting a lot out of this. I think this is a really good seminar, especially for new people and old. But I think it's very informative. This talk gives us more ammunition to do all three.
They're relatable to what we have experienced or very well could experience, so he makes it easy to let the knowledge sink in.
I mean, it's awesome. A lot of stories you can usually relate to yourself and calls you have been on, aha moment. Like, he just helps you focus on picking out the right things. It's awesome. It's a refresher and keeps my eyes open. It's good stuff.
If people listen to the message that he has, it's an incredible message delivered by a very compassionate person. Strategy and tactics are going to always change. Situational awareness it doesn't change. It's always there.
He's got some good stories to tell, and he's very thorough with his stories, and it's interesting listening to him.
Very clear speaker, and he talks on our level because he's been there, he's been in the trenches. I think he's doing well, and I'm looking forward to the second half of it.
Since 2007, Situational Awareness Matters instructors have helped more than 1,300 organizations and have trained over 80,000 individuals to improve high-risk decision-making, including first responders, industrial workers, military personnel, business leaders, medical professionals, utility workers, highway workers, public transportation operators, aviation workers, oil refinery process operators, and many, many more. If you or someone you know works in a high-risk, high-consequence, decision-making environment, then we're here to help to improve your safety and your survival, and to help you accomplish the most important mission of all. And that is to go home to the ones who love you. By the time this episode airs, I will have just completed my 6-week sabbatical from presentations. And for those of you who are connected with me on my social media, you will know that I went on a 500-mile pilgrimage across Spain called the Camino de Santiago, or the Way of St. James. If you want to learn more about it, just Google it. If you want to see some of my adventures, just check out my social media channels. I'd like to take a moment to thank and honor the companies, organizations, agencies, and departments that have hosted recent situational awareness training for their team members. The Coastal Bend Regional Advisory Council in Corpus Christi, Texas. The Safety Plus Conference in New Orleans, Louisiana. And the Illinois Fire Chiefs Association. If you're interested in attending a program, here's where we're going to be upcoming. On October 19 and 20 at the Clearwater Regional Fire Service in Rocky Mountain House, Alberta. Then November 14 through 17 at the International Association of Fire Chiefs Volunteer and Combination Officers Section Symposium in the Sun in Clearwater Beach, Florida. And then on November 23rd at the County of Grand Prairie Fire Services in Grand Prairie, Alberta. If you want to see the locations of all of the upcoming events, just head over to the samatters.com website and click on the red tab that is labeled Upcoming Events Schedule. If you're interested in hosting a program, just click the Contact Us tab on the top of the samatters.com homepage and I will give you a call. If you want to become part of the SA Matters community of learners, there's several ways you can do that. Just check the show notes for how to get connected with us by signing up for our monthly newsletter, subscribing to the SA Matters radio podcast, subscribing to the SA Matters TV YouTube channel, and how to follow us on the social media channels of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. There we're sharing ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to improve the skills of critical thinking and resilient problem solving. Well, that's it. Episode 290 of the Situational Awareness Matters show is complete. Thank you again to my guest, Chief Charles Werner. Thank you to our platinum sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to our feature segment sponsor, SimsUShare. Thank you to our associate sponsor, Chief Miller. And thank you to all the companies, agencies, and organizations and associations that have hosted Situational Awareness Matters training programs. Thank you to all the organizations that have hosted a live stream training program where I come to your organization live via the internet to train your members. Thank you to the more than 3,000 students and graduates of the highly acclaimed Situational Awareness Matters online academy. The feedback I've received from online academy graduates is just amazing and humbling, and I thank you for that. And most importantly, thank you, the listeners and viewers of this show, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gassaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gassaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgassaway.com.